Hello again. In this lesson, we're going to use the Arduino IDE to program um, to connect to the computer. So check whether the computer is able to program the MKR 1010 on top of our carrier board, and possibly blinking the onboard LED, or possibly also defining another pin and blink, make this LED over here blink. In order to do that, we have to use the Arduino IDE. While I'll be using the Arduino IDE, I'll be using several terms that will recur during our workshop, during our class. The pins are actually the pins over here, but by extension we are going to call these plugs, these white plugs, pin number D4, D3. The D are on the right, the A is the analog are on the left. As you can imagine, D stands for digital and analog stands for analog. We also have two extra one here. We're going to check them later. We also have other plugs over here to power the board up. We're going to check later. So now let's open the IDE. I have it already open. You should have something like this in front of you. So the first thing you want to do is go to preferences and check which are your preferences and how they differ from mine. I have my editor language in English. You can change it, but you have to reboot Arduino. I have increased the editor font size for allowing you to follow my code. You have also the possibility to add themes. I don't know how to do that. I clicked on verbose compiling. You are not asked to. You can see that I have numbers here, and you can show them up by clicking display line number. From scratch, the Arduino you installed is designed to program basic Arduino, like this one over here. This is a basic Arduino, is an Arduino Nano. Arduino Nano is an 8-bit microcontroller, but we are going to use these boards over here. These boards over here are 32-bit. Your program, your Arduino IDE, doesn't have the drivers to program these boards, so you have to install them. In order to install them, you have to go to Tools, Board, Boards Manager. This will pop up. You have to do this when you are connected to the internet, because now Arduino is fetching information from the internet and is like updating a list, and you can look for other boards to program with Arduino. All you have to do is type mkr, and you are going to see these Arduino SAMD boards, 32-bit ARM Cortex M0 Plus by Arduino version 1.8.4. Actually, I'm asked to update it, so you will have to install it, and it's going to take some time for you to see the progress bar reaching the end, especially for those who doesn't have a good connection. I'm going to update it. Once it updates, you are not allowed to do anything else. So you can take a cup of tea, drink some water, wait. Now we can hook up the board to Arduino. Before doing that, I want to show you something. So actually, you see this board is grayed out. Under board, you have Arduino AVR boards, and you have Arduino SAMD 32 bits Cortex M0 boards. So bang, you can program all these boards right now. Okay? So this is grayed out. We can hook it up to our the board is lit. You can see it's lit. Yeah. So it powers on. We're going to go to File, Examples, Basics, Blink, like that. Blink turns on LED for 1 second, then off for 1 second, repeatedly. Most Arduino have an LED on pin number 13, MKR 1000 and 1010 have a built-in LED on 6. So we have this. I'm going to explain you everything. This is a comment. We're reading a comment. A comment is a message a programmer has left in a code for another programmer, because you are now programming in a way, for another programmer to read. So you can like look for the link, it's clickable even. Wow, I didn't know that. You have all the people that edited this link: Scott Fitzgerald, Arturo Guadalupe, Colby Newman, and this example is public domain. So on line 26, you have void setup, which open and close with these brackets. We're going to go through that line by line. And we have a void loop that does lighting on and lighting off. Okay? So before going throughout the code, let's check. Let's see if there is a connection. Let's see if it works. So we now see, you should see a port, even recognized. You may have more ports, but Arduino should tell you and should spot for you which serial port is connected to your computer. You can even try by clicking on Get Board Info, and you will be sent the VID and the PID of that board over there. You also have this number, which should be different from for my number should be different from yours. Maybe you can steal the identity of my boards by reading my number. Maybe it's too little, you can even read it, but I can read here Arduino MKR Wi-Fi 1010. So there is a connection. I know for sure some of you may have problem here. We're going to go through these problems in our not physical of course, but in our debug moments. So don't be afraid, okay? Also, I advise you to check the getting started. I assume you either have macOS or Windows. If you have Linux, it's even easier installing Arduino. But then you have all the step-by-step instruction to install it on Windows and iOS. Okay. So assuming you are seeing the board, in my case is COM12 because I am using Windows right now. If you are using iOS, it should be TTY Bluetooth, similar to Linux. I think on Linux it's ACM0 or whatever. I mean, you can COM0 up to ACM12 if you have so many different serial ports. Most of the time, when you see enumerated, I mean, when you see linked serial ports, they are mixed up with Bluetooth ports because Bluetooth, it's like a radio transmission protocol, but in fact, throughout the connection, when it connects to other devices such as Arduino, this Arduino has Bluetooth, by the way, it uses a serial port. So you're going to see your Bluetooth connection, you'll possibly see your Bluetooth connection on serial ports. So choose the Arduino MKR board, and then we're going to upload. This I chose, remember in my preferences, I was verbose, so it's going to, on Windows, the uploading is very long. And it says everything he's doing, like he's like choosing and what he's doing here is like sending several commands to my computer in order to send this code, transform it in a code for for the Arduino, and then upload it. So if you have done this, you should see a little LED blinking on the board. So you actually made the LED blink. Okay? So congratulations. you have programmed your first Arduino. Now let's see what happened, how we did that, how we reached this moment, this dramatic, the most dramatic and important moment of the overall class. I'm not joking. From here is like the beginning of something long and interesting, hopefully. So actually, the code itself, as you can see, is made out of different sections. This section over here that starts with a slash asterisk and ends up with a slash asterisk is a comment. As a comment is this double slash. Then we have two sections. They are both functions and they are declared using the void. Void is like the void, nothing. But why it's called void? Because this specific function, it doesn't gives you back anything. You can have in C++, because in the end this is C++, you can have other functions that are declared in a different way but behave in a similar way that gives you back something. We're not going to touch them today. Just take in mind every Arduino sketch has just one void setup and just one loop. Okay, this is very important. The setup is executed once at the beginning of the code. The loop is executed on and on and on and on and on. Okay, in a trivial way. So this is very, very different from your computer. Actually, this is the big difference from a computer, a microprocessor, and a microcontroller like Arduino. Microcontroller, in a way, are less developed, but are more precise, so you can count on this. While a computer kernel, a microprocessor, can choose when to do something. And this is very good, of course. I'm not teaching you throughout the internet using a microcontroller. I'm using a microprocessor. But in fact, 3D printers are done using this kind of boards because they are really precise in what they do. A lot of devices are based on microcontrollers. So, within the setup, we declare that the LED built-in is an output using a function that is pin mode. So, these commands written in red, you can like right click on them and open them in reference. Here. Your reference is saved offline, so you shouldn't open up your internet. And you can see over here, pin mode, what does it do? Configure specifying pin to behave either as an input or as an output. Which is the syntax? The syntax is pin mode, which is satisfied by a pin and a mode. What is a pin? A pin is a number of those you wish to set up. We know, as I have read here, that the MKR has a pin, the LED on pin number 6, so I can replace this with number 6 and is going to behave in the same way, hopefully. Which are the modes? The modes are input, output, input pull-up. We're going to see input and output here. Input pull-up is something you use with some buttons, a cool way to use push buttons. So this is an output, it's an LED. So we have our LED done uploading. The behavior, as you can see, is the same. The loop starts and we are going to access the behavior of the pin using digital write. Digital write, again, is function. So pin and value again, and the value can be high or low. The third concept you have to, the third function we are using is the delay. The delay, which is satisfied by the number in milliseconds, so 1000 milliseconds is in fact 1 second, is the amount of time the LED has to stay switched on and then switched off. If you change this, you can change the behavior and the relationship between high and low. So we've seen the development cycle of Arduino is editing the code like we're going to do. You then compile, you verify the code, then you upload it to the board, and then you see it in action. So the verify button is over here, or you can access this by typing Command or Control R. The upload button is over here, and you can access it throughout a shortcut with the Command Control U. Okay? In today's lesson, we learn how to configure the Arduino IDE, how to go through the process of uploading to an Arduino board. We went through the first and most important function that are built in every Arduino sketch. Um, and we went through the whole process of verifying the code and uploading it and seeing in action. Um, Most of all, we made our first LED blink. See you in the next lesson.